Alright, the little tables turned out pretty nice. We're just going to leave them up for now. We're going to take them down a little bit later. Julie's going to go ahead and paint the ceiling. And I'm going to be working on the two sides of the shower stall here to try to get these done. That way they can be drying. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and she's going to be working on the paint. These are the little strips we bought to seal up the edge. So what I'm going to do is cut these off. You buy these at the same place you get your plastic or your fiberglass tubs around. Just take a pair of tin snips and snip them right off. See, they just come in a little strip. They look like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some silicone down inside this, and I'm going to stick it right to the edge of this guy. But I want to take it in there and give it another try just to make sure everything fits good first, before I go silicone anything up. Okay, I tried it. It seemed to fit pretty daggone good, so we're going to go ahead and put some white silicone in this crack. This is where the two pieces come together. We're just going to do our best to get what we can down in this crack. Now that's just on the inside there. That's going to help us hold it together. Once we get it pushed on there, we'll wipe all that silicone off the outside away from it. Now it's a little bit hard to hear in here because we got the fan on and it's pretty hot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my silicone, or my white silicone, I'm going to go right down this corner, and we're going to squeeze a nice heavy coat on this. And what we're going to do is push our wood or our other piece of plastic right up against this. This should seal that corner real good. Alright, got our panel. We're just going to push it right up against that over there. Make sure everything goes good here. Well, that last piece, when we went to go put it in there, I forgot to put the liquid nail on the wall. Then I already had the silicone on there, so I don't want to make that same mistake this time. But I got it in, and it looks really nice. So we got the second one cut. We're going to put the liquid nail on first. Then we're going to come in here. Oh, we're going to try to do it all at one time, but I need that liquid nail. I can't forget to put it on there. That's what's holding it back to the wall. So I'm going to get to putting this next panel on. Okay, we got that side on. It's on there pretty good. We got these two corner strips put on, one on each side. So now we just got to paint them corner strips up. We're going to let that dry, and then I'm going to take some more of that white silicone and go around the base, around the bottom, and up the two sides. And we're going to put a little bead right along the edge of this, all the way up through there. Now, to hold that into place, you can see this tiny little brad I put right there. It's like just right on the edge. Now you gotta watch if you're gonna be doing this, because they'll actually, the brads will rust. So I'm gonna cover them up with silicone so you can't see the rust. It won't rust up in there. Hopefully with a coat of silicone over. It's right close to the edge. We're putting silicone on it anyhow, so should be okay. Okay, as you can see, we got one coat of white paint on the ceiling. I think Julie's going to do a second coat. She painted inside all the cabinets white. Maybe a second coat up in there. Definitely a second coat on there. We got all of our strips up. She got them primered. We got our shower all done. And it really turned out pretty nice. And she's got some colors here. There's the backsplash right there. And she matched up a couple colors with the backsplash, trying to figure out what she wants to put on the wall. Totally up to her. So hopefully in the next week we could have this thing all primered, get all of our wiring down there, our 12 volt wired up, our battery. We still got to put just a small partition through there from the battery to the water, just to kind of separate that. I did buy a new plug-in for the 110 that's going outside over in that corner in the front. We got the new plug-in in. We're going to be putting it on. There's just so much to do, and I did get for the gray water tank. I actually got a valve core. I'm going to hook a hose to it, drill a hole down underneath there, and hook it on there. So I'll show you that. That was part of the, supposed to be part of the video with the gray water tank, but hopefully whoever's watching it's watching all my videos, because I'm just all over the place in this camper. So, alright, this is the end of this day anyhow. Well, start a new day here. We're going to go ahead and take these two shelves down, take them back apart and get them primered. That way we can get some paint on them. And then Julie will finish painting the walls and we'll get them put back up. We'll get these painted. They're going to be a little different color than the wall. So. Alright, I'll let them dry on that side, and while they're drying, we'll go ahead and get on something else. Alright, I wanted to put something underneath this shower, and I thought maybe just a piece of Luan. And I left a little space, so it got a little bit of air there to go up underneath. I'm just going to stick this thing back in there, and then I'm going to screw that on, because if I ever need to get back in there, I'll be able to take that little panel right off of there, and get back in there and to work on things. It's a little tough getting it out of there, but I just nailed a few pieces of board on the sides of it, so I just nailed a little board here, two on the sides. So I'm going to go primer this thing up and we'll put it in too. That's one more thing done. We just got to keep going one thing at a time till we get it done. Well, while that stuff's waiting, we're waiting on that panel to dry and them tables to dry. We did get our new plug-in in for outside, and it has a waterproof seal on it. I think this is going to be a lot better plug-in than what I put on there, but we're going to mount this right inside that box, so it'll help even more with this being waterproof and the box being waterproof. You'll be able to plug your cord right into there, make it a lot easier. Instead of having that flexible cord out there. I don't like that cord. I didn't like it when I put it in, so we're going to change it. We're going to go with this little guy right here. So now I just got to find a way to cut that hole through the aluminum and right into the camper, which is going to be a tough one, but we're going to take that box back out there, back off, clean it up, see if we can get this mounted in. Alright, we got this box back off of here where the electric went in, but I'm telling you, that silicone will not come off of there. Just getting little pieces. The only thing I could find to drill the hole that big is this little contraption here. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a try and see if we can get through the just aluminum part of this. Okay, we got that first part out. Now we got to get through the next piece of aluminum. Alright, so now we should have pretty much a perfect hole for this guy to fit into. But I also wanted to stick this box back on here and put this inside the box. That would give me a little extra protection. But this silicone has got a mess. I mean a mess. See, now we're down to the styrofoam. We can cut this out with our carpenter knife from the inside, because we have to screw this on the back of this guy here. So we're going to have a big enough hole in there to be able to screw this on the back of this so it doesn't come in and out. So it's a pain, but we're going to get it done. No matter what, we're going to get it done. Now I had some thoughts about putting some silicone around the outside edge of this thing, and then I changed my mind because I'll never be able to get it back off. That hole is like pretty much perfect for that. It's almost a perfect hole. It just fits in there. They gave us some tiny little screws here. I'm gonna pre-drill some holes and get them screws put in, and then we'll put the outside shell on it. Now I didn't get all that silicone off. I wiped it down with alcohol, tried to clean what I could off of there, so hopefully it'll go in. I'm just going to put one screw at a time in as we drill them out. Now these are the screws they gave me, so I'm just using them. I'm hoping they're a good screw. They should be stainless or something. At least you would think. I think I could drill both these now. Holding still enough. Then we're going to put that cover, that plastic cover, back over the top of this. So we'll have two means of waterproofing this. And it's squishing the rubber out, so that's actually a good seal. You really wouldn't need this other cover right here. And I ground some of the inside of it out so it would fit over top of this thing. And then we'll still have two means of protection over top of this guy. You'll be able to pop your little plug out, plug it in, and it'll still be inside. So what we're going to do now is get this thing siliconed and screwed back on, and we'll put some silicone around it, and I think it should be pretty good and waterproof. Now we're going to put our box back on there, and then we're going to put some silicone around it again, around the outside of it. So let's get this guy screwed back on here. We can find them holes again. Okay, we're getting her done now. This is going to be a nice waterproof box for sure. I had a hard time just getting it off of there, let alone worrying about these screws holding it on. Once that silicone takes a bite, it ain't going to let go, that's for sure. Okay, that sure, you can see it squished that silicone all the way around. I'm just going to take my finger and kind of smooth it out. Because man, once it's on there, you can't get it out. You can't get that stuff off. It like don't want to come off at all. Now, that's what I wanted it to look like. Now we don't have to worry about that cord bending around and flapping and stuff. All you got to do is pop it open and then pop your little thing out, and then you have your receptacle inside. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but I'm gonna try here. You just get your plug in and you can plug it right in there, and now you're pretty you got a pretty waterproof box there, and this will keep the rain off of it too. If it happened to start raining, this little box will keep the rain off of it. I think that'll be pretty nice. Well, our piece is dry. I put 3 screws in it, 1 on each side and 1 in the middle down on the bottom there. That's all it's in there. Now it still has a little bit of an air gap up underneath it here. That way, you know, it'll get a little air circulating under there. But what's nice is now if anything happens, we can pull that off there and see if we got a leak. So that's a good little access panel to under the shower.